I'm Anil Kumar, sharing with you a video on derivative where power rule and chain rule will be applied. This video is for my subscriber who really wants to understand derivative of the function x over 4 whole square. So I'll show you three different ways of doing it. We have f of x equals to x over 4 whole square. We need to find its derivative. What we can do here is, one method is, we can just open this bracket, that means square them up, so we get x squared over 4 square, which is 16, right? Which is x squared over 16. Now 16 is a constant, so the derivative f dash x will be equals to 1 over 16 times 2x, applying the power rule. Now this could be simplified, and so we could write this as x over 8. So derivative function is x over 8, right? So at the end we just simplified it by dividing 16 by 2. That could be one method. We could use substitution method. So what I'll do here is that I'll substitute x over 4 as u, for example. So we can select x over 4 equals to u. So we can write f of x. Let me write in terms of y and things like that, so that we can write this as y equals to, instead of x over 4 whole square, we could write this as u squared. Do you see that? Okay. Now if I find derivative of this function with respect to u, what do I get? That is to say, dy du will be equals to 2u, correct? Now that is dy du. We need dy dx. How do we get that? So as we do in substitution, x over 4 is equals to u, we can actually find what is the derivative of both in terms of x, right? So we can do d dx of x over 4 will be d dx of u. So that gives us derivative of x over 4 is 1 over 4, right? So 1 over 4 is du dx. Do you see that? So now what we get here is dy du and du dx. Let's go up here. Derivative dy dx can be written as the chain rule, dy du times du dx, correct? So which will be dy du is 2u, and du dx is 1 over 4. But what is u? U is x over 4, right? So we could write this as 2 times x over 4 times 1 over 4. And that gives us, we can simplify this, right? So we get x over 8. So we get exactly the same answer. Do you see that? Now here is the third method to do the same thing. Let me write this function and do it in small space. Let's say y equals to x over 4 whole square, right? Now we go to directly differentiate both sides with respect to x. Okay, so that means if you differentiate this, you get 2 times x over 4 to the power of 2 minus 1, which is 1, times derivative of inside function d dx of x over 4. Do you see that? Derivative of inside function. This is kind of this part, right? Now we could write this as 2 times x over 4 times Derivative of inside function is 1 over 4, just as we got earlier, and that is equal to x over 8, correct? That cancels out, giving you x over 8. Now that is how you could do derivative of such functions. This function is actually a composite function, just as we have shown here with substitution. If you do x over 4 as u, then the function becomes u square. You understand? So it's a composite function. So when you do derivative of the function, we do derivative of the outside function times the derivative of inside function. Do you understand? So the rule here is, if f of x is equal to g of h of x, for example, so derivative of function inside function, then the derivative of this function is derivative of this function times derivative of inside function. And that's the chain rule, correct? So in this, which looks seemingly simple, we have applied the technique of chain rule, right? So I hope with these 3 different ways of doing and getting the same answer, the process is cleared. So in most of my videos, what I do is I follow these steps, kind of forgetting this part. So I just multiply by the derivative. It's kind of a shortcut, which is not really very good method. However, if you get familiar with all this process, then that becomes kind of understandable, I should say. And I'm sorry that you had doubts because of this shortcut. I'm Anil Kumar, and I hope that helps. Thank you, and all the best. And yes, don't forget to share your comments, and if you have questions, feel free to ask. You can always share my videos, write comments, and if you like, you can like them. Thank you, and all the best.